Do you remember Tolly's Tolly's headline? Yeah, Pompey robbed by one-armed bandit.
Yes, yeah. Here we go. It's the Pompey Pod. We're back for another episode. We are reviewing Derby this week, and we've got the previews of Barnsley and Lincoln coming up. Get involved, you can contact us via facebook.com/Pompey Pod, Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it, at Pompey Pod, and on YouTube. For that, subscribe, like, tell your friends, tell everybody. We're getting a regular 50 plus listeners and downloaders now, Dan, and they're listening to at least a minute a week each. There you go. I'm not sure what the minute is. They would have we're a minute in, so they'll be tuning out now. So it's just me and you from here on in. Yep. How are you, Dan? You've been C19'd for a little bit, haven't you?
I have, yeah. COVIDed it up, haven't I, for the last
bloody
week?
COVID. You're so 2020, you are.
Still going, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, but all right now. Thank you very much indeed.
You're going to be okay for the park on the weekend?
Through. Yeah, I'm all right. Made it through.
Yeah, no, are you going to wear a mask at the weekend just to make sure nobody else gets...
One of those big head ones with a big visor.
A space suit mask.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to kick off with Derby. What we're going to do, we're going to add a new little feature in here. We're going to give a little match rating, then our ratings for how we felt Derby played and Pompey played out of 10. So starting with match rating, Dan, how did you find the match overall out of 10? We'll talk more about the details soon.
Okay, so can't give you a straightforward answer on that one, unfortunately. Okay. I would say from a Pompey fan perspective, I would say it was a 7 or 8ish out of 10 match.
Blimey. Okay, high praise.
But from a neutral, probably a 5 or 6. I think that's because I've watched enough of Pompey away games over the last few years to think that this was actually an all right game. It wasn't end to end. It wasn't great chances at both ends, but it was quite a good game to watch, I thought.
All right.
Having said that, I was in as well, so maybe I was drifting in and out of consciousness,
which made it more fun. Made it more entertaining. Well, I'm going to go with a 6 because I thought as a game it wasn't the greatest game, to be fair. But individual performances, Derby, how would you have rated their performance at home?
Well, I thought yes. If I was a Derby fan, I would be quite concerned with the way they played. I don't think they were great at all. I thought when Hourahan went off, that's their main guy. I thought that was a right bonus for Pompey. But yeah, no, I wasn't too impressed with them at all. I think they had patches in the game, but if you're the home team and you're a team with the stature of Derby, you'd be expecting to control these games at home, whether you're playing
to be up there, aren't they?
Yeah, and I only realised earlier on that their home form's actually been quite poor, hasn't it? They've lost to Wigan, they've lost to Oxford, they've lost to
Bolton as well, did they?
And they might have done, yeah.
No, actually, I'm thinking of the Wigan game. That's when their keeper got sent off against Wigan, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they were unlucky at that one, weren't they?
Yeah, it was harsh.
But yeah, I would be. I wouldn't be too happy if I was a Derby fan. That's why I think, from a Pompey point of view, it was all right.
Okay, and so pushing you for a mark out of 10 for Derby.
For Derby, I'd say 5.
All right, I agree. I'm with you on 5. Pompey.
Yeah. Well, as I said, because we've been so poor against the top teams last season and in recent years, I thought it was an all right performance. And I thought after the first 10 minutes or so, we controlled the first half and we looked pretty comfortable for the whole game. And we played very well for the first 20 minutes of the second half. But there was always that nagging feeling that because we hadn't scored, I thought Derby is going to go and nick, something's going to happen. They're going to go and nick a goal and end up winning the game. But yeah, no, overall, I thought it was a good performance, and it was a confident performance, which was nice to see for a change. And sort of we were controlling the tempo for much of the game. So I'd give us a 6 or 7.
Okay, a 6 or 7. So I've gone 6.5 for reasons that I will explain in a mo. So let's go into the game itself. Firstly, the team news. When the team news came out, I was quite pleasantly surprised. What were your, in some ways, other ways disappointed, because obviously I wasn't aware that Sadie wasn't going to be in there. But obviously we now know why, because he had a little niggle, didn't he? It was a bit of a risk. So fair play. I think that's a wise thing not to play him if he's got a niggle, not even put him on the bench. It makes sense. But what was your thoughts on the team? Robertson for morale was the key one for me.
I think that was quite a surprising one, wasn't it? Because we talked about that and we thought he'd play a more defensive midfielder in there. But yes, I was quite surprised to see Robertson in there. I thought Pack actually did all right. I thought Pack played quite well. I don't know whether you saw the interview with Mousinho after the game.
Yes,
and
did.
He was, what he said about Robertson, which I thought was quite a good little critical comments in that. Yes, he's a good player, but he needs to start games better. He had a good second half. And I thought that was quite right, really. When the games he has played, although some Pompey fans will tell you that he's been brilliant for 90 minutes, he has started slow in most of the games, and he's sort of grown into the game, which is fine. Could be due to age, could be due to the fact he's not played as many games as some of the other more experienced players. But
do you think it could also be due to the fact that he might have watched a few Pompey games and realised that no one really bothers for the first 10 minutes, and so he just assumed that was how it's supposed to be done. Maybe he's just following suit.
Yeah, we just start really. Yeah, maybe it is. It's just something. No, just go out there and start really slowly, boys. Then after about 20 minutes, then start taking control.
Yeah, once you start feeling the nerves in the fans, then and the tension building, and maybe after you conceded a goal or two, then start kind of putting your foot on the gas. But no, I did see that. And do you know what? I know I've been critical, and I'm still not convinced by Mousinho, and for reasons being, again, we started really slow, didn't we? It was, and we could have been 1-0 down quite. I know it was a bit of a deflection and whatever, but could have been 1-0 down quite early on, which would have been could have been a completely different game, couldn't it? If Barnsley had the game to control, Derby had the game to control, it could have been a completely different game. But I did actually like a lot of what he said during that interview, because about Robertson and also about other things as well. He just seemed a lot more positive. It almost felt like he's starting to get more comfortable in the role, and maybe more comfortable in that media sort of situation. Don't know. He didn't look as scared as he normally does either. No. He actually seemed more authoritative,
and he seemed like authentic. He seemed like he was giving more honest answers rather than, I need to answer this question for this for this job interview question.
Chat GPT answers.
Yeah.
How would John Mousinho reply to this question? It's a game of two halves, and obviously. Anyway,
what were your thoughts on White again in the cam position?
Well, better, but still, for me, if I'm honest with you, I thought he was probably our. If you're going through the ratings, he'd probably rate the lowest for me, I think. But I think he is slightly better. I've seen a lot of people saying he's much better. I don't think he was much better. I think he was slightly better. He did a little bit more, didn't he? There's a couple of flashes of nice play.
I thought there were times, but I don't know. There were times when he picked the ball up in really good positions, and it was just either a poor ball or a poor cross, or just not driving forwards with the ball. And I think if you're that player that's been bought in to do that, he doesn't seem to do that. He doesn't seem to be.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, first, like you say, first 10 minutes we weren't really in it. So then we did control the game for long periods without really creating anything, did we?
No.
I think.
No. You had Bishop off the line, didn't you, in the first half?
Yeah, but to be fair, I think it was a floaty header, wasn't it? I think. Even if there was no one near the line, they could have got back in time to head that off. So I think it was a fairly comfortable sort of clearance. Although he was, it's one of those, I suppose, a slight lack of concentration. You could have put it in your own net, couldn't you, by misjudging it? But I think it was fairly comfortable, wasn't it? It's just a floated header. But other than that, I think we came alive a little bit second half. I thought Robertson obviously stepped up quite a lot in the second half. Looked very lively, very creative. Swanson, what do you think of Swanson's performance? I know we were quite critical of him in the last game.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Another one, I'm not quite sure why people are. I've seen quite a few comments saying that it's an amazing performance and best performance since Tottenham, etc., that sort of thing. But yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was one of our better players. Yeah, solid.
Got forward a lot.
Yeah, it got forward a lot. Yeah. I thought it was all right. Yeah, good.
What would you say your positives? What would be from a player's point of view? Not that actually how we play, but individuals. Looking at individuals or maybe little kind of.
I don't think anyone had.
Link-ups.
I don't think anyone had a bad game. I think that's possibly why it was a good team performance. There didn't seem to be anyone that had a bad game. Even Kamara, although he sort of as usual, he drifted in and out of the game. I thought when he did get a touch on the ball, he looked a bit more confident as well, and he sort of did the right things in the right areas. Yeah, I wouldn't even know. I was trying to think afterwards who I would give man of the match to, and although it's a bit boring, I think I'd probably give it to Bishop again, just for leading the line and just work rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And another reason I've gone Bishop as well, and the reason why I've gone Bishop is for that reason. Obviously he scores a 95th minute equaliser, which kind of is something, but also he had he was in there for our best chances, I guess. I think also the fact when you add on top of that he hadn't trained all week, which I didn't know until afterwards, and then to have still played 90 odd minutes and then get the equaliser in the 95th minute. I think that's what edges it for me. I think you've got to say Bishop. I'm a bit of a Bishop fan. I like the fact that he taunted the fans as well. Didn't know he was a Forest fan, but there you go. But yeah, I would agree. I would go there. I thought Swanson was decent. I'd agree. It probably was his best game since Tottenham, but he was very good against Tottenham, wasn't he? But he had to be. Yeah. And I wonder whether it's one of those where you just raise your game for the big names, but he seemed much better.
I thought it was good.
Penalty.
It was good.
Penalty under penalty. Well, Dan. What are your thoughts on the pen?
Okay, my thoughts are from a Pompey fan. I don't like it. I don't like the penalty being given. But if that was in the Derby box and the Derby defender did that, I'd be going penalties, arms are in the air, etc., etc. Seen a lot of people slagging off the ref, saying it was a terrible decision, but it's the rules, isn't it? Whether you like it or not, the ball's bounced up. I think it was harsh because he wasn't looking at the ball, and it has bounced up quickly, and his arms are up in the air in an unnatural position. So you can't. What can you do? You can't. I don't like those decisions, but all the while that is the rule, then there's not much you can do about it, is there?
Yeah, there's some talk about the fact that it did, and strictly speaking, if it had been a VAR decision and they'd gone to VAR, they probably wouldn't have given it because it did hit his knee and then go up to his hand, which, strictly speaking, in Premier League, well, in any rules, it wouldn't be given. But I think, like you, in the moment, I didn't see the hit off his knee. It just looked to me if it went straight from the player, straight under his arm, and the referee hasn't got the benefit of that second view of it or the 15 cameras somewhere else. So I think I can understand why she gave it, to be honest with you. I think we kind of got away with one a little bit earlier, didn't we?
Exactly.
So it's evened itself out, but you can see exactly why she gave it. Let's talk about the referee, and not just because it was a female referee, but what did you think overall? Because we've talked about referees before and the general poor standard of refereeing at this level. In fact, I would even go as far as to say the best referee I saw last season was the referee we saw at AFC Portsmouth, which is the 7th or 8th tier. I think he is probably the best referee we saw the whole of last season. He was decent. Whereas I don't think I've seen a decent, consistent referee since. Yeah. He had great hair as well.
He did, yeah. So female referee. I thought she was fine. I thought she got a lot of the decisions right. I didn't think anything that she did. I thought the only one she didn't, which you could say was maybe the easy way out, was not giving the guy the second yellow in the first half. I think if you've given that free kick for the foul, you have to give him the second yellow. Yeah. Because he's gone through the back of Robertson.
Yes, it was because Robertson then get booked because he then did the imaginary, which fair enough is a yellow card. We all know it's the yellow card, don't we? So, but yes.
So I think
was it that situation? No, sorry.
If you're saying it's a foul, then it's a second yellow. So
he should
100%.
have
But other than that, I don't think, and the penalty, which you could moan either way about, I don't think she. I thought she was pretty decent. I don't think there was anything contentious that she you can complain
I
about.
would say on a par with other League One referees, which isn't a glowing reference, but certainly isn't anything negative. I don't think, like you say about that second yellow, it is a game changing second yellow, isn't it? Because just before half time, we'd have had an extra man the whole of the second half. They probably would have tired quicker. You'd never know what would have happened. But then, as Mousinho regularly says, it's difficult to play against 10 men, isn't it? So we might have lost. Who knows?
And
did you think it was a?
Sorry. Also, we're not so great against teams that defend, are we? So
nope. Did you think it was a handball by Pack in the lead up to our goal? Which is what a lot of Derby fans seem to be saying. When the ball kind of comes out of the area,
do you know what?
To me, it looks like he takes it on his chest. It is high on his chest, but
I haven't seen the replay. I saw the. I remember at the time thinking, "Oh, what happened there?" But then from the replays I've seen, I've only concentrated on the cross onwards.
Yeah. And do you think Bishop was offside?
No, because I've seen that. I've seen enough of the replays to see that he wasn't came from behind.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So all in all,
and nice to see Devlin getting in there for because I know he's classed that as his assist, hasn't he, as well?
Has he?
But good to see him getting in the box after that chance that he missed as well, because he should have put that one away.
He should have done that. That was a glaring miss, wasn't it? Really. But I thought he was quite positive. He is full of energy, wasn't he? I thought he looked all right. I think there's some positives there. I thought there's some nice little play out wide, which is a bit of a change. Ogilvy kind of getting into some nice positions and interchanging with Kamara quite nicely with that little move with the second half. I thought that was quite nice.
Yeah, I thought it was just a good confident performance.
Yeah, and away from home against a team who are supposed to be up there, one of the main teams up there. So overall, happy with the point. Could have quite comfortably come away with 3, I think, couldn't we? But we're going Bishop man of the match, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at Barnsley. Barnsley is tomorrow night. By the time this comes out, it will be tonight, because this will probably come out just before the Barnsley game. What, if anything, do you change from that team at Derby? It's obviously going to be a bit of fatty for some players.
Yeah, I think it's your Lane White camera, isn't it? I think they're the 3 that are going to be. They're the 3 positions that we seem to be rotating every single game anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not convinced by Lane. I'm not overly convinced by Kamara or White. I'm not convinced by any of them. But I think it depends on whether Sadie's fit. Have they said whether he's fit?
I saw something today saying he's still a doubt, but then, they're in the same breath, they're also mentioning people like Lowry and stuff like that. So I don't know whether this is like a BBC style. Kit Simons is a doubt for Portsmouth this weekend, and maybe replaced by Andy Orford.
Yeah.
So not sure. I'm not sure how the validity of that media outlet, shall we say. But I don't know. Hopefully he's back. But I think if there's a risk that he's kind of only 80%, he probably will at best be on the bench running.
And do you think he'll go back to Morel?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to see Robertson start again, because I think especially the way he played second half. But I think young player, second game in 4 days, I can't see him starting, especially as Morel's had a bit of a rest.
How about this? He puts Morel in for Robertson, so you got Morel and Pack, puts Robertson forward, puts White back out on the wing, and puts Lane as sub.
That'd be all right, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Just a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
If Sadie's not fit.
If Sadie's not fit. I would like to see Sadie back in, because I think he just gives you that energy, doesn't he? He gets the rest of the team up, he gets the crowd up. And I think he kind of, even if he looks like one of those players that even if he's not playing well, he'll still run around and give you that impetus to kind of get other people moving around him.
Told you, it's all you need to do. It's all you need to do to be a Pompey player. Just run and
work
run
hard.
And run. Yeah, work hard. Yeah.
That's what you need. If you've got a little bit of quality as well, then that is all the better. Okay, so we're saying maybe a little switch around in that front 3, not Bishop, but the others, and Morrell back for Robertson. Maybe Robertson might keep his place elsewhere.
Yeah, in fact, I've decided that's what he's going to do now. Now he talks about
Okay, yeah.
He's going to bin off Lane, put White out there because he won't drop White for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Keep Kamara out there. Robertson where White is. End of.
There you go.
Yeah.
And whilst we're on Barnsley, prediction. Do you want to? So let's go to the Barnsley games. So Barnsley have won the last 3 on the bounce. They've scored a lot of goals this season as well, but they did put 7 past Port Vale on the opening day. So that kind of does skew it a little bit. They've conceded quite a few as well. But 3 on the bounce they've won. They're the same points as Pompey, but they're above us in the league on goal difference. They've scored 16, conceded 7. We've conceded 3, scored 10. We're obviously unbeaten. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking at their results. Actually, they've had 2-3-1 defeats at home to Oxford and Peterborough, but the rest.
Oxford are a good side, though. Oxford are a good side, and they're looking decent this year, aren't they?
Oxford beat Derby at Derby.
And I think their manager, I can't remember his name, but he was one of the people linked with Manning, wasn't it? He got manager of the month as well, didn't he? Eh? Yeah. Oh, Bernie. Yeah. No, Bernard went to Sheffield Wednesday in the end.
Who did?
Oh, no, it's Bernard.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Bernard, yeah. Oh, was that where he's gone?
Sheffield Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we did say, didn't we, we'd be happy, we'd be very pleased with 4 points out of these 2 games. But we'd be happy with 2 points. I'd still be happy with 2 points. Just another good performance like the Derby one would be nice. That would be that the Derby game started me thinking that maybe we have moved on a little bit from last season, in that we haven't just been walked over away from home against a big team and bullied.
And also, if you think about it, there are many times conceding that late, we wouldn't have got back in there.
Yeah.
There's been many a time over the last 6-7 years, or even the last 20, 30 years, where we've conceded late in a game and just not even looked like getting back in it. But
don't
that's
forget,
the one thing.
20, 30 years ago, if you conceded in the 85th minute, you've only got 5 minutes left. Now, in the 85th minute, it's all right, lads, we've still got 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, how long, ref? 15, 20-ish. Depends how many subs happen between now and then. Barnsley, the last team that we lost against away from home. 3-1 this time last season.
Bad defeat as well, wasn't it? That was
poor. We were really poor. We slow out the blocks. 2-0 down before we knew it. Is that the game Morrell got sent off?
It was Morrell, yeah. Who's the guy up top? Who's
big fella?
Yeah, he's all right.
Can't remember his name, but yeah, he's a handful, isn't he? He's one of those players that if he plays for you, you love him. If he plays for anyone, when you play against him, you just think, all he's got is strength, but he's pretty strong, isn't he? Yeah. What do you reckon? So you're going to draw 1-1?
I'll be happy with the draw. I'd be very pleased with a win. So now let's go for a Pompey 1-0. Let's go for a 1-0.
Oh, cheeky. Yeah. All right.
Nice tight defence again. Nice solid defensive performance and a Bishop penalty.
Bishop penalty, second half, 63rd minute. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm going to go for a draw. I know it's boring. I know it's typically Pompey. I'm going to go 1-1. We will concede first and we will then equalise in the second half. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, Tuesday night
whack your money on 0-0 at half time.
Yeah, always 0-0 at half time.
I must check what the odds are. Because,
I don't reckon it'd be good. I don't reckon it'd be good.
I don't think it shouldn't be good, should it?
No, you'd be lucky to be evens. Okay, so this weekend, in fact, the Jimmy Dickinson statue will be unveiled at the Lincoln game. I think that's a nice little, probably one of the better things they've done for the 125th anniversary, isn't it? The Dickinson statue. Obviously, the third kit was a bit of a non-starter, not a popular kit. The so-called centenary game, was it against the Royal Artillery or something?
Oh, yeah.
We kind of almost passed by without anyone really knowing about it.
Yeah.
Not centenary, 125th anniversary. But this was obviously done by the supporters, and I think, fair play to the people who's organised that.
Is it the same guy that did the Michael Jackson one?
So yeah.
Let's hope so. I think so. Yeah. Is it Jimmy Dickinson or is it Jimmy Tarbuck? We're not sure.
Could be any, couldn't it? Could be any.
Or is it
Well,
David Dickens?
this is the thing. Obviously, some people have seen it. There's nothing sneak. I did have a good look. See, there's any sneak previews, but there wasn't. So it will be a. Some of his family are going to be there, so I suppose the reaction on their face will be
yeah.
will be telling. Okay,
I'll have a look and I'll try and get a picture of it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Please do. Let's quickly talk about, because obviously we were away at Derby. Neither of us were there, but I managed to. I went to a wedding this weekend. Still managed to see the game. That's how eventful the wedding was. No, it's good wedding actually, but I still managed to get away for the game for an hour and a bit. Away day tales, Dan. Away day tales. We're not that we're regular away day goers, but we've been to a fair few games over the years, haven't we? Either individually or together. Which one would stand out for you? What would be your highlight of your travels with the Blues?
Well, I had 3.
And why? Okay.
I had 3, but one of them I've talked about before. And the weird thing is they were all 3-2 wins.
Okay,
realised looking at today. And one of them was the Leeds game where we beat them in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
In 97, was it? 97?
Svensson, wasn't it? So it would have been back then, yeah.
So I won't go through that one, but I think that was my favourite. That's been my favourite all-time Pompey away performance. Because we were just awesome that day, and it was FA Cup, and we were playing a Premier League team in Leeds who were doing well at the time as well.
Who were decent Premier League side as well, weren't
they? Yeah. And we played really well. Just beat them very well, beat them comfortably. But the other 2 were 3-2 wins, both away at Crystal Palace, and both games we were 2-0 down. One was in 2002, and then the other one was in 2000. So the first one, the 2000 one, was when Steve Claridge was in charge.
Yeah.
And we went 2-0 down. I think we were playing quite poorly, and then we came back to win 3-2. So that was good, because it was always good. We used to go to that ground quite a lot, because you had Palace and Wimbledon sharing the ground. We used to go there quite a lot for the away games. So that was a good one. I remember that being a good fun game, and just looking at the players as well. You had Primus, Edinburgh, Derry, Moore, Claridge, Bradbury, Quasi, Torgerson, Scott Hiley, and Michael Panopoulos. I think he scored as well. Panopoulos. And Thomas Torgerson scored. And I think Claridge got the other one. So that was a good one. And then 2 years later was 2002. We went there when the season we went up. Redknapp in charge, and we were 2-0 down again. But I remember we were playing quite well, and we got one. We were 2-0 down at half time, and then within 4 second half minutes, we turned it round to 3-2 with Hayden Fox scoring. And do you know which other player scored 2 goals?
Give me the position.
Right back ish, sort of an attacking right back.
Not no, it wouldn't have been Jason Crowe, would it?
Ooh.
Was it really?
Yeah. Jason Crowe scored 2 in 2 in a couple of minutes. So yeah, we scored 3 goals in 4 minutes to just completely turn it around. And and that was a game when we had like your Dazoo, Hislop, Taylor, Merson.
Yeah.
So really, it was that really good team. O'Neill, Burton, Pericard. So that one's. I remember those 2 games very well. I think coming back from 2-0 away is always good.
Yeah, Palace away was always good back then, actually, wasn't it? I remember going there on Boxing Day one year, and we won. I think it might have been 1-0 over Limboy header. I think we did that on one Boxing Day. For me, do you know, I've gone the opposite. I've gone the opposite way. I had 2 in mind, and both of them were defeats. And both for different reasons. The one that I kind of was runner-up, if you like, was an awful game. The whole game was terrible. The opposition were terrible. Everything about it was terrible. But the actual day sticks in my mind mainly because a very good friend of ours smuggled a bottle of vodka onto the coach on the way up to Sunderland and got very, very drunk to the point where I don't think he remembers to this day any of the game. Not that there's much to remember.
He left his face. He left his face paint on the back of the man's shirt.
The back of the so the guy in front of us had a white Pompey shirt on, and as we're getting off, where he was a little bit inebriated, he had painted his face with a Pompey flag and fell into the person in front of him, leaving his face on his back, which was a bit of a highlight. But I don't know if you remember the game. We played Sunderland FA Cup. We were a league below. I think it was in '99, if I remember rightly, because Michael Panopoulos got sent off that game quite early in the game. Was it '99 or 2000?
Didn't even realise.
Should we name our friend? Should we?
Yeah,
why not? Well, Tolly, you'll remember that one well, won't you? You'll remember that well. But it was a terrible game. Everything about it was terrible. The stewards were terrible. They're telling people to sit down all the time, weren't they? It's just horrendous. Everything, and we had one shot in the whole game, which was Whittingham. We lost 1-0. Sunderland didn't have much. It was just there's nothing on. There's no entertainment on the coach. Pre-smartphones, just horrendous day out. But anyway, the one that really sticks in my mind again is Claridge era. So I imagine it would have been about 99, 2000, probably 2000, maybe 2001. He was in manager away at Fulham. Do you remember this game? So it was quite a good game up until. Until
one of the funniest days out, I think, ever.
The funniest games ever. We lost 3-1, but we were doing all right. And then Linvoy Primus got sent off for a professional foul. He took down a player just over the halfway line, didn't he? So it's just before half time he got sent off. Referee, basically everything that was in the stands that could be thrown onto the pitch was thrown onto the pitch. Adding to the spice, Niemi was in goal for Fulham. So he was getting pelted with hot dogs and burgers. And I remember a snooker ball going on stage. And it's like, where's that come from? Not that you don't know you condone that, but you could just see everything. The whole of the in front of the away end was the pitch was just covered in crap, wasn't it? Early in the second half, about halfway through the second half, Kerry Hughes, who was a walking red card anyway, then got sent off. We're down to 9 men, and Claridge still seemed to try and attack the game. And we ended up losing 3-1. But the referee had to leave the pitch in a helmet.
You're in a helmet, It's not funny, is it? But it was.
It's not funny, but it wasn't funny, but it was funny. It was one of those
games. I mean, if you say you've paid to go to an away game, you've travelled up, and your team's lost 3-1 and gone down to 9 men with 2 players sent off, you think you'd be livid, but I don't think we've ever laughed so much, have we?
No, I think quite a lot of our end, but despite the amount of stuff that got thrown onto the pitch, I think most of our end was fairly kind of gallows humour, weren't they?
Yeah,
in good spirits. But that's probably the number one memory for me. Apart from the Palace games, I think we've lost most games have gone away. Another highlight, I suppose, was kind of back in Old Trafford, must have been about 92, Paul Walsh sort of era, scoring a couple. Against Man United, 2-2 draw, so that was kind of good as well. Anyway, so tell us what your.
Who scored the winner in the replay for them?
Was it? No. No, I don't. Steve Bruce.
Brian McClare.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, tell us about your away day outings. The positive or the negatives. Whether it was good because it was a great away win, or whether it was good because it all fell apart and went horribly wrong. Happy days.
If you can beat that the referee had to go off wearing a helmet whilst various things were thrown on the pitch, then please let us know.
If we add into the spice, which again it makes it even worse, the fact that we kind of laugh about it now, but if you remember that the referee also had a disability.
Oh, I know full well he did, but I didn't want to mention it. Let's put it this way: you wouldn't have to buy him a pair of gloves, would you, for Christmas?
No, he just had. It was a kind of obviously he had. I don't know if he had it removed or whether he did it was from birth, but he didn't have an arm below his elbow, did he?
No.
I think probably both red cards were deserved, weren't they? But we didn't see it that way at the time.
Do you remember Tolly's Tolly's headline? Yeah, Pompey robbed by one armed bandit.
Yes, yeah. There you go, Tolly. Two mentions, one episode. Not sure the second one will stay in, but we'll go. We'll see. See how. Okay, so that's where we are. Lincoln at home this weekend. We'll very, very quickly. What's your prediction on that, Dan? We won't review the whole game because I don't think we have the time. But so let's assume we go. Our predictions are right for the Barnsley game. So in your mind, you win 1-0. In my mind, we draw 1-1. Could affect the Lincoln game. Lincoln are doing okay, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, I was just having a look. They've dropped down to 9th now.
Only lost one, though.
Only lost one. Yeah, I was just going to see who they've played.
Like us, they seem to draw a lot.
Yeah. Aren't they? Are they not the team that we give all our players to as well? Lincoln. What was that?
No, that's Stevenage, isn't it?
That's Stevenage.
Stevenage got a bunch of players from Pompey.
They haven't played any of the teams we've played, so difficult to gauge. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a tough game, isn't it? It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah.
But we'd be wanting to win that, wouldn't we, at home? So the 2 draws to the 2 big teams away, and then a win at home to Lincoln. S'il vous plaît.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's got to be in there. You can't look at a team like Lincoln. You know, the draws. The reason why we got frustrated beforehand is, you know, when you draw into Chelmsford at home, who hadn't picked up a point all season, hadn't scored a goal. When you can't break them down, and you draw into who's the other one? Bristol Rovers. Bristol Rovers actually played okay, I thought, but we shouldn't be drawing with Bristol Rovers at home. If you want to go up, you've got to beat these teams. And Lincoln is in that realm. There's some teams you can accept to draw at home. Bolton, you could accept that. Derby, you could probably accept that. But mostly, you've got to be winning your home games, haven't you? And I think that's where we lacked the last couple of seasons. We really haven't won those home games. So I'm going to go for, we're going to smash Lincoln 3-0.
That's what we need. I think we need these 0-0 half-timers. We need to start getting an early goal or a couple of first half goals, take the pressure off a bit, and then hopefully go on, like you say, win 3-4-0 in a game.
I think we've got it in it. I think we have. I just think we're too conservative for the first 20 minutes or so, and therefore it kind of sets the tone a little bit. But I think we seem to have, although again we've said time and time again this season, but that our so-called star wingers and attacking midfielders and stuff haven't really performed as yet. But I do think Kamara's starting to show a little bit. Obviously, Sadie, when he's fit, is very much looking the part. Yengi isn't going to be far until he's back fit again, which although I don't think he'll be a regular starter because Bishop will still be the number 1 striker. I think Yengi gives that great option off the bench, doesn't he? So I think it's all starting to come together now. Yeah. No, I think it's good that we've got, as we've said before, that we've got players that can do something when they come off the bench now. It's not just a case of filling up spaces on the bench with your Hackett, Fairchilds, etc. Players like of that sort of ability. You've now got players who can come on and take on. Well, Hackett Fairchild is at Lincoln now, isn't he? And doing very well, apparently.
Yeah, I think that's what I was alluding to just a minute ago.
Oh, maybe, yeah. All right, so Barnsley, Lincoln, those are the 2 coming up. We will review both matches in our next episode next week. If you want to get involved, do so. Facebook, Pompey Pod, Twitter, Pompey Pod, and YouTube, Pompey Pod. It's the same on all 3. We're still looking for contestants for our brand new quiz, Pomp Master. Please sign up, get involved. It's only 5 questions. It'll take about 10 minutes of your time. You might enjoy it. Get involved with the pod. That's the Pompey Pod for this week. Bye.
Bye.